so after heavy NBA and football discussions on the SportsMax zone on this Friday, it's time now to move to cricket. They used to call it the gentleman's game. The 7th edition of the ICC T20 World Cup will bowl off on Sunday with 2 matches at the Al Amarat Cricket Ground in Oman. The hosts will face Papua New Guinea in the opener. Before Bangladesh and Scotland do battle, there are 2 groups of 4 teams at this stage of the tournament, with the top 2 teams from each reaching the Super 12 phase. That's where the West Indies will open their campaign on the 23rd of October against England. Ahead of the tournament, the International Cricket Council has been reliving Carlos Brathwaite's final over heroics that led the West Indies to the title at the expense of England in the 2016 final at Eden Gardens. You may recall this as Ian Bishop's Remember the Name moment.
To remember the name, which I never ever bring up ever until now.
Carlos Brathwaite! Carlos Brathwaite! Remember the name! History for the West Indies!
That 2016 final call wasn't planned. The day before the final, I went to a function in Kolkata, a businessman's function, and we had to have a question and answer ceremony, sort of experience. And one of the questions were, are there any players, apart from the obvious ones, in the West Indies team for the final that we should look at? And so I eliminated a few players, the Gales, the Badgeries, etc. And I just said, Carlos Brathwaite, he's built like a house. He's bowling well. He could be a game changer. Could be. I never said he would. I said he could be. And he's someone to look out for.
You think he'll be a player in the future, Carlos Brathwaite? You think he has some talent? It ain't over yet. But this is a glimpse into his future.
And so the West Indies team had been through a lot. And I felt from being around the team, there was a sort of a fire burning in them. And when that moment came, and Carlos did, because I thought they were behind the game, and Carlos did what he did, it was just the passion that came out. I didn't want the moment. I've always said that David Lloyd was on call lead. I did not want it.
Oh, it's high in the air again. Oh, it's 3 sixes. And that's his 18 gone. Look at the West Indies. Look at England.
He handed it over to me, and I was scared when he did that, because I thought all of a sudden I'm thrust into that position. And so it was just emotion coming out. I sort of subconsciously remembered what I'd said about Carlos the day before when I told the businessman to look out for this fella. And I was kind of speaking to them, remember the name.
Carlos Brathwaite! Carlos Brathwaite! Remember the name! History for the West Indies! What a match we've had here at Eden Gardens!
Yeah, what a moment that was in the history of West Indies cricket. Now, earlier this week, the results of a poll showed that moment as the 2nd greatest in T20 World Cup history. Virat Kohli's group stage do-or-die knock of 82 not out against Australia at the same tournament was voted the greatest in a head-to-head selection. 68% of the voters preferred Kohli's knock over Brathwaite's immortal feat of 4 consecutive sixes in the final over of the match to hand the West Indies victory. Now, Mariah and George, what do you make of this?
Well, I'm a West Indian to the heart, so it'd be very difficult if I had to vote, because they'd have that inner pride and love that I have for West Indies cricket. However, if we were to, look at it from, analyze it as if I wasn't a West Indian, I would say that still this would get the edge, and it's because it was Carlos Brathwaite, despite, they having these discussions saying that he would step up and stuff. This was his 8th T20 international match. He was somebody fairly new to international cricket, so technically nobody was expecting this from him. I think even when he went to the crease, many would have felt as if, all right, the game was over, that was it. And then the fact that he had only batted 3 times before that, not even a good top score, nobody was expecting that. So I get the sense that when he did what he did, that would have been such a game-changing moment from a person who you didn't expect to do that. So I would say that got the edge for me.
Yeah, well, they said the results of a poll. Now, who would have made up that poll? Because I think that would be a critical part of the analysis of the choice, because if it it's just a general poll for fans on the internet to
Well,
give
then
their
we didn't
opinions and
vote.
so on. The population of India and the love for Virat Kohli would put him in an advantageous position.
You're asking me a question?
I just want to know if you agree with the call.
No, because I'm saying that you've answered the question rather articulately. Because that's the answer. No, I'm not being facetious. I'm just saying to you that you've answered the question.
Yeah.
Because he's right. Poll bias. I mean, if it is that the poll was open to, even if it was a poll of commentators only, and I'm sure it was a public poll open to the public.
Yes, yes.
There is no way in blazes that anything else but an Indian performance would have won.
Yes.
Worst, Virat Kohli.
Yes.
So if you conduct the same poll in the West Indies, but close it to West Indies fans, Ricky Brathwaite would win by a country mile.
Yes, he would.
Yeah, so it's really about who's voting.
But even if you open it in the West Indies and open it to everybody, the Indians by sheer numbers, as Lance said, they'd skew the numbers so they'd win. I want to remind us of something, though. Moran spoke about the value of what Ricky Brathwaite did in that final. His strike rate in that innings was 340. He played 6 games, as we know, in that tournament. Did not bat in the first match against England. Did not bat in the second one against Sri Lanka.
Yes.
Made 10 against South Africa, 10 off 10 balls. He then made 13 off 8 balls against Afghanistan. Did not bat against India. And in the final, he made that 34 off 10 balls at a strike rate of 340. How did he do bowling in the tournament? Because I'm building up to the remember the name thing. Bowling in the first game against England, none for 16. Second game against Sri Lanka, 1 for 36. Third game against South Africa, none for 11. Fourth game against Afghanistan, none for 21. Fifth game against India, none for 38. Then he explodes with 3 for 23, taking Jos Buttler, Joe Root, and Willie in that final against England. So he took 4 wickets in the tournament, 4 wickets in 2 games, 3 coming in 1. And he had 13 and 10, so he had 23 and then 34. He had 57 runs aggregate in the tournament, 34 in the final. So it's not as if I've heard people take a slight dig at Ian Bishop to say, well, you got that wrong when you said remember the name, because you were announcing to the world its next superstar in this format. It wasn't really Bishop's fault because, as you said, Lance, in those moments, a commentator is a prisoner to the emotions and the various ingredients that seed the moment of the orgasmic declaration of the result and the performance and the quality of the performance. So it's understandable to see why Bish said, remember the day you're going to hear about this man from here on in. But the numbers in the World Cup didn't tell us that we were witnessing a world-beating talent.
Which is why I thought it was so special.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you went through the bowling figures just now, but it would have helped if you had given the overs as well.
Right.
Because when you said none for
so I
11,
can go again.
if he had bowled out his 4 overs, none for 11 is good.
Yes, I'm going to go the none for 16 off 2 overs.
Okay.
1 for 36 off 4.
Yes.
None for 11 off 2.
Yes.
None for 21 off 2.
Okay.
In the game against India, none for 38 off 4. And in the final, 3 for 23 off 4.
Yeah.
Of 4.
Yeah, but I think what is at the point of discussion here is the way he addressed the big moment. Because yes, Carlos Brathwaite, at no stage of his career, before or since, has been a special player. But this is a special moment.
But there's no doubt about that.
This is a moment that is almost unbelievable what he did.
And he's batting against Ben Stokes, so it's not as if it's any and
Yeah,
anybody.
but Lance, I don't know why you seem to almost like you're making an apology for the.
No, I was just building on what you're saying about people might say Ian Bishop went overboard.
This is one of the greatest moments in the history of sports. There can be no doubt about that.
Yes.
And to the day Ricky Brathwaite dies, and we hope he lives very long until him back unch, as I've groomed famously told Lance and came on a spar. Yeah? I think Ricky Brathwaite has this against his name. It can never be taken away from him.
Yeah.
One of sports' greatest moments, regardless of sporting discipline.
Yeah, for the record, I had him on my reserves for the World Cup coming up. But it doesn't seem as if he was considered.
Yeah, and then that moment, the song said, "Give me one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be."
Yes,
that's Ricky Brathwaite.
Okay,
that's Ricky Brathwaite.
Not Whitney Houston.
No, that's Ricky Brathwaite.
Ricky Brathwaite.
Right there.
Okay, we go to break, shall we?